Former UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo, who successfully resumed his career after an almost 2-year break, returned to the UFC bantamweight division rankings, taking 8th place in the top 10. The updated rating was published on the official website of the strongest league in the world. Last weekend at UFC 301 in Rio de Janeiro, the Brazilian defeated Jonathan Martinez, who was on a 6-fight win streak and ranked 12th in the rankings, by unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Having failed, the American lost 2 positions and moved to 14th place in the top 15 of the bantamweight division. Before putting his career on hold, Jose Aldo was ranked 6th in the rankings, having lost 3 positions after losing a unanimous decision to Merab Dvalishvili. Having defeated Martinez, Jose Aldo fought his last fight under his current contract with the UFC. However, he made it clear that he was not going to retire and was ready to negotiate with the organization. In addition, the 37-year-old Brazilian has expressed interest in a fight with the current division champion, Sean O'Malley, who is scheduled to defend his title next against Dvalishvili. Movsar Evloev may fight with former UFC champion. As I understand it, the UFC really wants to organize this fight, said Evloev. I have already given my consent in advance. Now we are waiting for it to ripen. Last month, former UFC bantamweight title holder Aljamain Sterling made a successful debut in the featherweight division with a unanimous decision victory over Calvin Kattar at UFC 300 in Las Vegas. Undefeated, Movsar Evloev won his 8th victory in the UFC in January of this year, winning a unanimous decision over Briton Arnold Allen. Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling are currently ranked 5th and 8th in the UFC featherweight division rankings, respectively. Sharabullet addressed his opponent. Russian fighter Sharabutin Magomedov wants to know if Ukrainian Igor Lost is ready to fulfill his promise to fight with him after the fight with Michel Pereira. It's time to take responsibility for your words, duelist, or get lost in fear and don't mention me again, Sharabullet wrote on the social network, addressing his opponent. The middleweight bout between Sharabutin Magomedov and Igor Poterya was officially announced as part of the UFC on ABC 6 tournament, which will take place on June 22nd in the Saudi capital of Riyadh. However, the Ukrainian came on short notice to fight Michel Pereira at UFC 301 in Rio de Janeiro, losing to the Brazilian by guillotine choke in the first round. Earlier, the Russian, who successfully debuted in the strongest league in the world in October last year, said that the fight with the Ukrainian was important for him because of the disrespectful attitude of the duelist towards the defeated Mauricio Shogun Hua. Let us remind you that the main event of the UFC on ABC 6 tournament will be a middleweight contender fight between Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. Michael Chandler announced the timing of the fight with Islam Makhachev. The 7th number in the UFC lightweight division, Michael Chandler, who next month will share the octagon with Conor McGregor, announced that after the fight with the Irishman, he plans to challenge the current UFC lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev. Islam fights not just for itself, but for the whole country, the American said in an interview with Ariel Helwani. He's fighting for Khabib's legacy. He's fighting for Khabib's father's legacy. His motivation goes much deeper. I think he will defend the title against Poirier, defend the title against Tsarukyan, and we will fight him in the first quarter of next year. According to Islam Makhachev himself, after the fights with Poirier and Tsarukyan, he will make an attempt to win the UFC welterweight championship belt, which is currently held by Briton Leon Edwards. Let us remind you that the lightweight title fight between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier will headline the UFC 302 tournament in Newark on June 1st, and the welterweight fight between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will be the main event of the UFC 303 tournament, which will take place on June 29th in Las Vegas. Dear friends, if you like our video, please like and comment to develop the channel, and do not forget to subscribe.